Hello everybody, welcome back to more political chatter. This 2024 election prediction is between Joe Biden, the incumbent president of the United States, a Democrat who's very unpopular. He's underwater when it comes to approval ratings. He's disapproved of by the American public. And in this prediction, he's facing off against Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who is very popular. Very popular, especially for a swing state where there are so many Democrats and Republicans alike. But Ron DeSantis does connect with that Trumpian wing of the Republican Party, and he will energize those Trump voters. But he will also be seen as a more moderate version of Trump. We do have to remember that he will attract independents who had voted for Biden in 2020 and are now unhappy with his presidency. And I will, before we start, I will say that. Sorry I haven't been posting a lot lately. I think my last upload was like 2 days ago, which, doesn't seem like a lot, but it is for my channel. I post a lot, maybe even 3 days possibly, I don't think so. But I've been posting less because of the fact that I am doing a project right now. I'm making a Daft Punk helmet. I will post a video about it later once I finish it, but I still have a while to go, and I've been very occupied on that. So let's get into this prediction. California and Washington, in my opinion, would stay safe. D.C., Maryland, his home state, Delaware, New York, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont would all stay safe along with Hawaii. Then there's going to be those likely states that are still very much Democratic but aren't quite solid. They were in 2020, but they won't be in 2024 because of his disapproval. I do think that against Ron DeSantis, the state of Illinois would go likely. Remember, in 2020, it only went to Biden by 17 points. He's going to lose more than 2% of the vote, right? So therefore, it would be likely. All right, moving on. To save DeSantis states, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's first, Nebraska's third, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, and Indiana would all be safe. These are all the safe states. And then those very Republican states, but not quite likely or not quite safe, would be Alaska, Iowa, and Ohio, because he will energize the Trump base in both of these states. Texas, because he does come from the South. And Maine second, because there are a lot of Trump voters here who he will get out to go out and vote for him. I do think that South Carolina would be safe, saying that he does have very much a southern appeal, and I think that he would do 5 points better than Trump here, therefore making it solid, because it went to Trump by, I believe, 11 points in 2020. But going over to the state of Virginia, I think that this will stay in the Biden column by a lean margin. We'll get to New Hampshire. Just because of the fact that Virginia really shunned Trump. They did not like Trump very much. They liked Hillary and they liked Biden. And Ron DeSantis is just so closely aligned with Donald Trump that I do think that the state would go to Joe Biden, but he definitely will do worse here than in 2020, and it's going to be a lean margin win for him here. And then going up to Maine at large, this will be a lean win, saying that that Maine's second went likely for Trump in 2016, and Maine's first went likely for Hillary in 2016, and Maine at large went lean. So just because of that math, I do think that it would once again be lean. Moving on over to Colorado and New Mexico. I personally think that Ron DeSantis will do better in the state of Colorado than New Mexico. Both of these states would be close to becoming lean, but my reasoning is just that in Colorado, there's more independents. There are a lot of independents in the state of Colorado. But in New Mexico, there's more of that Democratic base. There's a Democratic base in both of these states. And I'll do Minnesota while I'm at it. I think that would probably be lean, I would say. Likely, but probably lean. Just because, in all three of these states, there's that very Democratic base, and they did not like Trump very much in 2016 or in 2020, and they voted for Hillary and Biden twice, So all three of these states, there are enough Democrats for even an unpopular Democrat to win here. Going to Nebraska second, that is shifting to the right. We have to keep that in mind. It is shifting to the right. So because of that, with Biden underwater, I think that it would flip back to the Republicans, and that will be a red win here. And then going to Arizona and Nevada. Arizona is becoming more and more of a swing state. Actually, I just saw that there are more registered independents in the state of Arizona for the first time ever of all the 50 states than, well, here, let me just word this better. Arizona has just become the first state to have more registered independents than registered Democrats and Republicans in the entire country. So there are a lot of swing voters in the state of Arizona, but Trump only lost here because of his remarks about John McCain. So I think that Ron DeSantis will do much better here because, he hasn't made those comments. So I do think that Arizona would go to Ron DeSantis probably by a lean margin. And then going to the state of Nevada, this will probably be a tilt win for him here. I don't see him doing as good here. But, yeah, because you do have to keep in mind that there is a strong Democratic base here. Because keep this in mind. They voted for Hillary in 2016 when Trump won Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, Arizona. He won all these swing states, but he did not manage to win the state of Nevada. And it wasn't even a tilt margin. It wasn't even like a 1%, fluke. It went to Hillary Clinton by 2.4%, which is absolutely insane in my mind. So I do think that there are enough Democrats who will turn out to Biden to make it a tilt win for DeSantis, but ultimately he will win the state because it will be a red wave year. Going up to state New Hampshire, I don't think that Trump would win in the state of New Hampshire. I do think that Biden would if it's Trump versus Biden. But what we have to keep in mind is that Ron DeSantis will be much more acceptable to a whole lot of people than Donald Trump. Donald Trump was seen as such a radical, and Ron DeSantis may be a radical for you. A lot of Democrats will think, but ultimately he will come across and he will try to make himself seem like more of a moderate, just a bit more of a typical conservative, right? So I do think that this would be a very close race, but I think that Ron DeSantis will narrowly pull out a win here by a tilt margin. Going down to his home state, Florida, that's going to be a likely win for him here. I don't see any trouble here. He's going to carry the state easily. Then, his base is going to be the South because he comes from the South, and he's going to have an appeal in the South. He will turn out Southern voters, and he will once again energize that Trump base. While on the Democratic side, Democrats will not be energized to go out and vote for Biden. They're going to feel ashamed to go out and vote for Biden. So I think that Georgia would flip back. That's going to be a lean win. I think that North Carolina is going to stay, and Ron DeSantis will do very well here. I think he's going to win here by a likely margin. And then, so Ron DeSantis has won the presidential election. And going to Pennsylvania, well, let's go to Wisconsin. Ron DeSantis being more acceptable really will help him in the state of Wisconsin. That's going to be a lean win for him here. A lot of moderates there. Along with the state of Pennsylvania, there are a lot of swing voters here, and that's really who you have to win. And with Biden underwater, that's what you're going to. That's what's going to carry him to victory, is what I mean. And then going to the state of Michigan, ultimately, I was thinking about giving this to Biden by a tilt margin, but, only like 16% of the population is African American, and I just think that there really needs to be more of a minority base here in the blue wall for any chance at a Biden victory. So ultimately, I think that Ron DeSantis will carry the state. So Ron DeSantis wins with 317 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 221. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Sorry, I can't speak today. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Watch all my other videos, and I will see you all next time.